up, everyone?
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. And thank you to the man, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog, kicking it off on an official basis here on the MCF side of things with that $5 holler.
Yeah, he breaks a tie. He breaks a tie. Listen, it took a lot of recouping today, guys, after last night's stream. We truly don't remember much of it. We appreciate everybody who was part of that. We do remember the beginning parts of it, of course.
There are a few highlights.
I hope everybody had a good, enjoyable time last night. It was crazy. Can't do this without your guys' love and support, as always. And again, last night's another example of that. Of course, we would never have done all that on a regular stream. But either way, guys, we appreciate last night's one-time only viewing and all the enjoyment we had there and the back and forth and the discussions, the music,
had some fun,
the drinks, yes, and we all had a good time, I think, on that stream last night. But tonight's we're back to football, back to Cowboys, and listen, a little later we knew it was gonna be a close call, but we got things done as far as the stream is concerned. As far as our plans for today, it was kind of out the window, but the stream we did get get enough energy, I guess you can say, to get on tonight, finish up strong this week.
Recovered throughout the day.
Yeah, to finish off this week strong, and at least we got to do this tonight, talking with the family here. Again, last night's is erased. If you weren't here, you missed it, right? So, much love, pre-stream wise, to the man, and in stream here, Dwayne Broussard with that 5 on it, and a Go Cowboys, as you said, baby. Also, Skeptical Fan, the man, Skeptical Fan. He dropped a $2 thanks earlier today in the middle of the day, so appreciate him with on that side of things. Skeptical Fan and Dwayne Broussard, can't do this without all you guys. Now, as we open this up, baby, we got to do some shout outs. This is the end of the week. First, I want to talk about the gifting memberships, the leaders for this month, which is closing out in a couple of days. Skeptical Fan has 23 gifted memberships. The wife has gifted 2 of them. Scorpio 1, Jason Renfro 1. Much love to everybody on that side of things. A new feature for the channel started May 1st. So appreciate Mr. Skeptical Fan taking the huge lead in that. And truly, he's going to be on this board here as our gifting leader of the month. So we'll do it again for the month of June. So that's number 1 there. But I wanted to kind of get that warmed up for our current sponsor of the week and our current Cash App King, the man, David S.
Woo, thank you, David.
Who I checked back on everything. He was part of last night's fun as well. You know, we know everybody. We truly appreciate his love, and he actually jumps into, I think, second place on the Cash App board.
Yes. For
this week, so almost back to back. He's you can see the overall leaderboard up there. You know, he's in the top 5. David S. Much love to him for the love and support. And Jason Renfro is the 86-point man up there. The old Dalton Schultz, the new Luke Schoonmaker jersey. 86 points for the man, Jason Renfro, after the Dwayne Broussard drop. And he's running that stream, boss. It might look weird. The first time we started a stream without Marco Sepian's name as that stream boss for over 12 weeks, he ran that board for over 3 months. Jason Renfro took it down. But as you can see right above, baby, Jason Renfro is in second place, Skeptical Fan in third, but in first place on the overall board. That was from last night. And the overall leader on the Cash App and the Snug X, the man Snug X, had a little bit, a little time off, back in the house. Appreciate him on last night's stream, and we know why. We know why he's here hanging. He rips that star, but we know why. So much love to Snug X. He's the current leader on that side of things as well. So I don't know what else I have to do shout outs for. I'm kind of a little off kilter from last night and our stream. I'm on track when we talk our Cowboys.
Yeah, of course. There's multiple ways to show love and support.
Yeah, outside of the super chat, which is back, and the memberships and gifting, there's 4 other ways to help the channel.
Cash App, the Venmo, My-Cowboys-Family, the PayPal link, and of course Streamlabs as well. So thank you again to everybody here hanging with us, chilling with us. Let me go ahead and do some shout outs here in the chat, and then read a comment or 2, and then touch on the Cowboy news and updates that we do.
Definitely have a couple little things, but the one I'm excited about is really what this whole stream is about. Is about Dak Prescott, and I want to know what you all think. So make sure you guys vote in our poll tonight here about Dak Prescott. What is it, real quick, baby? I don't know if you can read it out real quick.
Redo it so I can see the.
But it's about Dak Prescott. Some word out there about his interceptions, issues.
Yeah, so when it comes to Dak Prescott, where does most of the blame go for the risky throws that lead to those interceptions Dak has? And there's 4 choices. 1, Dak Prescott, mainly on him. 2, receivers' lack of consistent separation. 3, the bad coaching between, Kellen Moore and Linehan's bad schemes.
Over those years, yeah.
Or the fact that receivers consistently drop the ball and tip the ball that lead to all these interceptions. Since, the separation is separate from the
drops.
Drops.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I do see those 2 things as 2 separate issues. So, anyway.
We're early in that now.
We'll
check on that later.
Check out the results of the poll here in a little bit. But, first let me go ahead and do the
shout-out
time.
Hell yeah.
Oh, give me a second.
Who is in the house?
There we go. We have Akeem Sears in the house. Much love. Nate Rosario, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there as far as your phone getting hacked. I don't know. Maybe ask your parents if you have an iPhone to take you to the Apple store or something. But I'm not really sure what to do if you have a different kind of phone. But that really sucks. You should, again, also, if you had a Google account connected to your phone, you can at least maybe try to log into your Google account and see, or an iCloud account, see if you can access some of your stuff that way. Just a little suggestion there, Nate. So
that sucks, Nate.
Let me see. Redman R, much love.
Hey,
yes, very glad to have you here. Said we're now halfway from the last Super Bowl to our Cowboys season premiere. 15 weeks since the Super Bowl and 15 weeks till week 1.
Let's do this.
There you go. So, guys, it's halftime here at My Cowboys Family then. Texas Twister in the house. Much love to you. Stay safe out there on the road. Mike Aldana, hello and hi. We have Rolando Rodriguez all the way from South Texas.
Yeah.
Although right now from Austin, Texas. So, yes, we definitely took our time waking up today. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, it was definitely a late start.
Yes, OG Lokes 09. No shots tonight. No.
No,
I think we're
no
going to be
way.
taking a break from that.
No shots for a month.
3 months.
For at least, and maybe when football season starts.
Pass the blunt. What's up? We got Q Ball in the house. Of course, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog.
DB.
Eric Wallace, what's up? The man, Jason Renfro. Wes Robinson, hello.
Wes.
Q Ball, how are you doing? Freedom First, what's up? Hello and hi.
I got to shout out Skeptical Fan he gifted 6 memberships yesterday, and I know Wes, a Bronco fan, I know John the Don, many others. We have almost the whole chat membership up here. Much love, Skeptical Fan, for making it happen.
Yep. So Pioneer, what's up? So
we made it somehow.
Memorial Day weekend started and ended very quickly, I think, for us. And I actually work Monday, so I don't get
half day in there.
Yeah, so I don't get many holidays off, unfortunately. My job only gets 3 holidays.
We went into last night with the drinking. We went into that knowing that it was going to be an extended weekend. You have a half day. I have a day off Monday, so it worked out in that way.
So at least I can kind of keep my eyes closed to my desk a little more on Monday.
You can kind of get through it. But I think we powered up last night well, and I think we actually rebounded well. Again, later than we expected. But I think we're feeling better. At least that's good. Redman R dropping that dollar holler. And he's in 12th place on our board above here. What did the man say?
Classic. Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Redman. Appreciate you.
Jersey representative.
Yes. So, and yes, let's go ahead and kind of touch on the Cowboy news and the info, because there are actually a few things we did want to touch on yesterday. And one of the parts that we actually do both remember was some of our kind of season discussions and some of the Dak discussions that we had in the earlier part of the stream. Who was the person speaking on
the who would have asked about it? Was it
I think it was Clark.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And if I am, please let me know.
Clark,
but I think it was Mr. Clark Kent, who had mentioned, or asked, how do you actually really feel about Dak? And I'm pretty sure I said that my heart broke a little bit after that San Francisco game, but that I, eventually rebounded once my feelings weren't so hurt.
And I think, for me, Dak had some bad showing. I didn't get to answer that question, actually. But Dak had some bad showings, no question. Some bad decision-making issues. And I put this a little bit, more on Dak to say the playoff games than I would have the regular season and the interceptions, because I've seen him with my own 2 eyes dropping out of Noah Brown's hands. Gallup's hands and CeeDee Lamb's hands and Dalton Schultz's hands, that Hendershotz's hands that we see in the interceptions, not all go on Dak, but there's more context here. I wanted to dive a little deeper. It got me thinking. It must have caught me in my drunkenness yesterday, and it stuck with me because I actually brought something up that came up today, which we're going to discuss, which comes back to that. How do you feel about Dak? What's the issues, whether you believe it's Dak or you can't be helped, it's in his DNA? As someone today that we actually like a lot said about Dak Prescott, or is it the risk? Why is the risk versus interceptions like worse with Dak last year? And just a lot of little things. I think we're going to break it down. That's going to be the main topic tonight. So as people come in, we're going to be building up to that. Think about that as you vote. If you want to hold off on your vote until you hear more of the facts of the situation, you can do that too. But I got a good one here tonight on a shorter My Cowboys Family here on a Sunday finale to crown some champions. Right now, Snug X in the lead on both those boards.
But no, I think I did all the shout-outs here in the chat. But Akeem Sears said, I still love Dak. I believe he'll show out this season.
And similar to what I think in the end. But why? Why will he show? Why will he show? Is it just because Dak can overcome everything? No. You got to have other pieces, other things working in place, coaching. Everything has to still go towards the Dak and the quarterback strengths. If you don't do that, you're making the quarterback, whoever that is, fight up an uphill battle. And I'll tell you, Dak maybe succeeded in some things, failed in some things. We're going to discuss that tonight, good, bad, and ugly. But I think we're going to come to an agreement here on what is the real blame of the situation. Is it going to be on Dak here, like deeply on Dak, and is it going to be more on something else? And it's not to excuse Dak. It's about the factual situation when you look at context. And Dak Prescott, especially this past season of interceptions and some risky throws, we'll talk about it here in My Cowboys Family. Best I can with this hangover headache I do have. Let's get rolling into the NFL news. First and foremost, guys.
At least there's one person out there with a bigger headache than us right now.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G, Raiders quarterback, but question mark? Remember, he went from the Niners to the Raiders off season, failed his physical today, and his contract was dramatically reworked with the Raiders because of it. So Jimmy G now his signing bonus was now pushed to base salary. If the foot issue lingers, the Raiders could release him and no penalty, no dead money, because the contract was reworked. Because he failed his physical, now there's no guaranteed money anymore. It's out the window. The Raiders, if his foot is fine, there's no problem. He passes physical. But if this foot issue lingers, the Raiders can cut him without having any kind of dead cap money, any kind of guaranteed money they owe him. It's over. So if Jimmy, again, doesn't pass the physical, the Raiders could move on at no cost. That's the big news in the NFL right now, outside of the Cowboys. Now, the other piece of news that I think we always got to revisit, it's going to be floating around the star for a while, unfortunately, is this guy right here. And again, no offense to Deshaun Hopkins, D-Hop. I love the player. We had a poll the other night, 2 nights ago. I captured it right before the end. I know I had missed shouting out the results of that poll. It was interesting, baby. But there was 36 votes. And we did that poll very late at the stream. Appreciate all 36 people voting. The question was, do you want to sign free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Dallas Cowboys? And 58% said yes. 41% said no. I'm one of those no's because there's no way we're going to get all these guys in the field. Even with the injury situation, I mean, I guess it would depend on more context on the question. But if it was $3-4 million with some incentives, of course, bring them in here. And we'll have Gallup get hurt or something like that. We got Hopkins in the house, jumping them. But the reality is he ain't going to be paying $4-6 million for DeAndre Hopkins. He can get more than that in the free agent market. In fact, baby, DeAndre Hopkins searched for a new team yesterday. We didn't talk about it because we did our different stream, but it's going to be complicated. Why? Finding a new team as a free agent. He now has a re-expected financial wants, and it looks like DeAndre Hopkins, wants more money. Remember when he was getting traded from the Cardinals to the Cowboys? It was about, I'll play for cheap. I don't have to get any kind of reworkings. I don't want a future deal. Out the window now. He's a free agent. Now, no trade. Now he wants to get the most out of his, the most bang for his buck, so to speak. And guess what? DeAndre Hopkins is not coming to Dallas with that battle out there, free agent money, and he wants more money, more money, more money. It's not happening. Oh, shit. Is that the drop of the year, I think, so far? We had $99 hollers, but never 100 and a takeover of the stream boss by Mark Hovsepian. Woo, man, what a takeover that is. I'm trying to figure out if is he closing in on the top spot? He's second. But Mark Hosepian, I don't know. I know it's the $100 holler. Appreciate you, brother. And I know we missed you yesterday. What did the man say, Mr. Mark Hosepian?
First of all, Mark, I am so sorry. That is absolutely tragic.
Whoa.
Our hearts definitely go out to you and your family. But he said, my sister Sandy just passed away yesterday. I want everyone to know how much her baby brother misses her and loves her. Please say a prayer for her tonight. I have a pic of her when she was 18 or so in her hula outfit. Much aloha to my Cowboys family. So, and you can see it there. She does look very beautiful. And I have to admit, the red, the flowers, all of it, just rest in peace, Sandy. Yes. I'm so sorry for you, Mark. My heart definitely goes out to you, your family, all the Hosepian family and beyond, because I'm sure it wasn't just her family who was going to love and miss her. So, and I see, appreciate all the Cowboy family here in the chat, giving you love too, but I can't even imagine. I'm also the baby sibling here, so, my big sister is everything to me, so I can't even imagine, Mark.
Yeah. I'm shocked. Beyond words, brother. Damn. I don't even have words. I don't have words to I did not expect that. I mean, I was thinking more festive, and man, I am just blown away, brother. I don't have any words. Just stay, I think a lot of us have lost family members, right? So it's hard time. You gotta, stay strong for those around you, family and friends of your sister, and and just time will heal wounds, unfortunately. But and missing people, but you'll never forget. That's the thing, and truly shocked, and my thoughts, condolences to you and your family, Mr. Mark Hosepian. Damn. So sorry.
Let me go ahead and, like I said, appreciate everybody here, giving some love to Mark in the chat. Obviously, you're hopping in here saying hello and hi. So hopefully some of the Cowboy stuff that we're talking about can give you a bit of a break through some of the stuff that you're probably thinking or feeling right now. So
even if it's a little bit of a divergence or, like a distraction. It won't ever be, but I'm just saying, like, even in a small way, man, we're here for you. This family here is also here for you, and appreciate you, Mark, and only the best to you and their family to get through this tough time.
Yeah, just try to get through these next few days as best as you can.
Yeah.
So, with that, obviously, there's no smooth way to kind of move on from that, but let me go ahead and I guess kind of rewind, because I think you were talking about Hopkins and the Cowboys and
I'm a little bit
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
look,
a long story short, obviously you've mentioned a few times that you're not exactly a fan of it because you just don't really see how
he doesn't fit
money-wise and just scheme-wise.
I mean, we have three. If it wasn't for Brandon,
we've made the moves we've made.
If it wasn't for Brandon Cooks, if we had not brought in Brandon Cooks, I think DeAndre Hopkins would be on our radar and the Cowboys would be way into this. But luckily, he's not. In the way that I'm trying to say is that he probably would. He's going to cost more than Brandon Cooks. Is he? Is he? I don't know. I mean, is he better than Brandon Cooks? Yes, but is he better than him for what we need him for? So, he's more like a replacement to Gallup. So if you're going to bring him in, you're going to have to kind of, and he's a much better Gallup. I'm just saying he would be more like the guy that goes down the field. Like, I guess as a CD, he's a receiver one. We got a receiver 1A and 1B if we have that duo in there. No need for Brandon Cooks at that point. But then you have another Gallup. They're trying to mix him up and move him around. He's looking better than the ACL for a year. But my thing is, there's just not enough room. Number one, the receivers. Remember I said the special team side of things. CeeDee Lamb doesn't play special teams, like coverage or blocking or anything like that. Neither does Gallup. He does not play special teams, and neither does Brandon Cooks. The fourth receiver got to be able to play special teams. It's kind of like a have to. Now, again, I would forget about that and make me overlook that if we got DeAndre Hopkins for $4 million with some incentive money. All right, but the reality is that ain't happening. The reality is, he wants 10, 12, $15 million, and the Cowboys are not paying that. So I'm just saying, guys, DeAndre Hopkins is seeking a, quote, significant contract on the open market, end quote. That's per Mike Florio.
Those two words alone already make him ineligible for us Dallas Cowboys, right?
Ineligible Dallas Cowboy right there. He said for a month or so, he was talking about he wants less. He wants out Arizona. This probably is the reason why. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason why they weren't able to trade him for a 7th round pick. Maybe he just refused to. I don't know. He has no choice in a trade, but he wanted more money, is what I'm assuming. I'm saying in this thing. So in the end, he can say what he wants. Remember, he tried to trick everybody in Cowboy family and the Cowboy fan base was like, "Hey, he wants to work with us." No, he really didn't. He wanted to up his money as much as possible, and it makes sense. But he was just, he was talking like a guy who's trying to use that star to get that money, right?
Some of these football agents need to speak to some Hollywood agents on how to manufacture PR relationships a little bit more. You get what I'm trying to say?
I do.
That's it. Because there's plenty of fake relationships in Hollywood that people don't realize are necessarily fake, or maybe they do realize, but the machine is still pushing. Oh, look at this couple doing this, that, and the other. It's the same thing. Yep. So real quick,
hey, we have 2
let me go ahead. Yeah, we have 2 back-to-back drops here. Real quick, shout out to Skeptical Fan with a $2 holler who said, "Who is faster, Cooks or D-Hop?"
Oh, Brandon Cooks is faster. I think Brandon Cooks is. I'm pretty sure Brandon Cooks is faster than D-Hop. He's still got the speed, but they're both kind of older. Remember that. 10 years for Hopkins, 8 years. 10 years for Cooks to 8 years for Hopkins, I think, or so.
I think Hopkins is technically more productive, quote unquote, or at least like on a statistical basis, right?
I mean, he is. DeAndre Hopkins is more of a playmaker. Then Brandon Cooks is more of like your slot, inside outside kind of guy. Your receiver he's a playmaker too, but in a different way. He doesn't have the height and the athletic ability to jump up there and grab the ball out the air like DeAndre Hopkins has the big play kind of Des Bryant feel
thank you,
to
Retro.
him. Right?
Retro said Cooks is about a 4.3, Hopkins is about a 4.5. So Cooks is a little bit faster.
And again, Cooks a lot shorter. So again, I got to give it up for DeAndre Hopkins to hang in there. But that's a big reason why the Cowboys wanted to keep Cooks in the mix and not go after Hopkins as hard as maybe some others would have wanted to. I mean, initially I wanted Hopkins. I wouldn't think about
Marco
Cooks.
Seppian dropped a $5 holler right after that. He said, "Why Cooks? We want to run more. We have 3 solid receivers, and we invested a number 2, as in a 2nd round pick, and a tight end, and we want to do more double tight end sets. There's no room. The clown show just loves the attention."
And, again, that's the Cooks comment. They're actually interesting because if we're going to run more, you'd want DeAndre Hopkins, who's a bigger receiver, can block down the field a little better. I do think, though, with Gallup, who, we're going to be pushing that knee this year, CeeDee Lamb is decent. He's not anything extra special at blocking, but honestly, all our receivers block well. Brandon Cooks is not the best, biggest blocker, right? But he is a solid guy that can definitely help out in some of the blocking. As far as the receiving side of things, I think he just fits into the West Coast offense the Cowboys are trying to... The vision of McCarthy, West Coast offense, is what they're looking at. The front office is looking at the cheaper value of Brandon Cooks to DeAndre Hopkins. So both those things, the fit schematically with the West Coast offense and our specific receiving core, where we don't need a number 1, we need a number, a slot, a guy like Brandon Cooks in this West Coast minded offense. That along with being cheaper is the reason why the clown show did the clown show. Whether right or wrong, we'll see. But that's why DeAndre Hopkins is off the table, I think.
I mean, yeah. I actually would kind of like to see him in Dallas, but I understand that he just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Mike Aldana said it.
From a money perspective and from a team perspective.
He said D-Hop possession receiver, and Cooks is more of a deep threat. And D-Hopkins is a big playmaker though as well. He go deep or not, but he can jump over guys. He can hop, make the big play, the flashy play. Cooks is gonna get that little pass and go. He maybe go for a deep pass and catch it, deep route.
Ali Jenny,
using that
Brandon
speed.
Katz, Splenda Papi, much love. Thanks for hanging with us here. Let me see, Vato Salas in the house. Mike Aldana, I think I shouted you out, but just in case. Lost in translation. Let me see, who else is here? Yeah, just in case, because I did see a few more people hopping in here.
Cool.
Want to make sure I shout them out.
Don't forget to hit that like, sub it up, share it out, and subscribe to the channel, the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter at MyCowboysFamily, and on and on. All the info is in the description. Much love right here again with another $2 J-Lou holler from Skeptical Fan. What did he have to say, baby?
Will Steele miss week 1? And if so, who's replacing him? So, as far as we know, Terrence Steele isn't expected to miss any actual, weeks of playtime, at least based off of the initial reports, but we really haven't heard any updates since then. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, as we know, expectations and reality are two different things. So, as long as everything goes absolutely perfectly, he shouldn't be missing any actual NFL playtime, like week 1 to 17.
The good
18.
thing is, today, baby, we're going to actually hear from Terrence Steele and how he's looking to kind of rebound from this injury, about the foods he eats. But we're going to talk about the offensive line here today in a moment. No, we are. We're going to talk about it. I also want to say,
in the house, much love.
I was just going to bring up the Mark Hovsepian with his drops today. He's in second place on the overall board. In first place in both Cash App and the overall board, of course, Snug Eggs. We know why. He's trying to claim both crowns and have a full takeover, although Mark Hovsepian has taken it. And that Stream Boss, 98 points and taking it back. Much love to the man, Mark Hovsepian. Starting a new week streak, it looks like here. So truly appreciate everybody in the house. David S. representing tonight, possibly his last night, representing as the Cash App King and the sponsor of the week. So again, much love for the weekly, torch passing, so to speak, right? So do I get back into this? You want me to get back? Because we can get to the offensive line. Let me start with the defense. I'll go through them real quick here. A couple important things before we get to Dak Prescott. I'm saving offense for last for obvious reasons, but since DeAndre Hopkins is not a Cowboy, even though he's in a Cowboy uniform, he must have stolen. He took a Cooper Rush jersey. He has a Cooper Rush jersey he took out of there, and then he's repping that. But he's not a Cowboy. He's not going to be a Cowboy. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But I do see DeMarcus Ware. Beware of D-Ware. He's a Cowboy again. And so again, I know he's in the Hall of Fame. I know he's repping that star in the Hall of Fame. But he got a Super Bowl with the Broncos. We know. But we know who else he's helping. Look at the thumbnail, and you see it. Micah Parsons, but not just Micah Parsons. The entire Cowboy defensive line. Specifically the pass rushers. So, of course, Hall of Famer, DeMarcus Ware, all-time Cowboy franchise record holder when it comes to sacks. And again, he is a guy who's teaching a lot when it comes to, these players in the offseason. You've seen Micah Parsons have a lot of time with him, in the lab, and they're working on pass rushing stuff, whether it's videos, and they're kind of learning the different techniques that the greats have done, and DeMarcus Ware is part of this. So that was in the offseason. Now he's wearing that star on the field, DeMarcus Ware, once again, and helping the Cowboy coaching staff. Now, we discussed this a couple months ago. We talked about DeMarcus Ware was definitely going to be a Cowboys camp, helping out from time to time. But he was there last couple of days in this OTAs, and we discussed this already, what he was showing out there with Micah Parsons and other defensive linemen. There's photographs out there as well. DeMarcus are working with Sam Williams. I believe Sam Williams is going to be the future pass rushing threat with Micah Parsons at the edges. Those are the guys pass rushing wise I think are going to be rocking it. But DeMarcus Ware also knows how to hit the edge, control the run, and all that good stuff. So he's teaching these guys. Micah needs to learn too here from this. And not many are better equipped to teach the full spectrum of the edge rusher, defensive edge player than DeMarcus Ware. Stop obviously pass rushing, but we also got that run stopping ability with him. He can show you how to maybe set the edges better. Micah Parsons, that's something he can definitely learn from. Again, a little bit, 10 pounds of muscle, and this hopeful growing knowledge through DeMarcus Ware will help him and guys like Sam Williams develop to the next level. I mean, all the guys out there were getting some well-needed, learning from well-needed experience and coaching from the great DeMarcus Ware.
I'm just saying, we complain so much about the offensive coaching. It's nice to see the defensive coaching being elevated on all levels, right? Like, not just through Dan Quinn, but through the off-season stuff that some of these guys are doing and the coaches are getting coaching from.
I'm just saying, you got to remember that on defensive backside, we got Joe Witt Jr., then we got Al Harris, and we got, who was the other guy we just brought in the other day, was out there too. I mean, we got a bunch of guys out there. I forgot his name. We just talked about him 2 weeks ago. He's joining the crew there as an assistant. We're loaded with guys with experience and talent and somebody will remind me, and I don't think it was Ty Law, but it was somebody who was like an old player. Shit, he was a former Green Bay Packer, if I'm not mistaken. Now he's a coach in there. As you're seeing here, Aiden Dirty, of course, doing his stuff. Aiden Dirty doing his stuff as a defensive line coach. But then you got guys like Floyd Sheriff, who we've talked about has already changed the mindset of this defensive line inside, with the big guys inside, like the Mozzie Smiths and the Hankins. Though that's changed some of the strategy this year going into the season. Interior stopping that run instead of kind of attacking. It's going to be about bludgeoning the whole offensive line into the quarterback or running back's faces and not allowing those gaps to develop. And now we're talking about edge rushing, and I just want to add in here DeMarcus Ware. And as we talked about, and when you look at DeMarcus Ware, what he's going to help, just of course, edge setting, which is what I already discussed multiple times. Of course, DeMarcus Lawrence can help that too, but DeMarcus Ware will be helping there. And Micah Parsons, again, when you look at the PFF pass rushing, no one since 2021, I mean, Myles Garrett, by their numbers, had him, Aaron Donald, Javon Hargrave, and Chris Jones, the only guys that actually had better pass rushing grades by the analytics, pass rushing wise only. Micah Parsons over the last 2 years had a 92 rating, and again, there's only about 11 guys in 2 years that have even crossed the 90, the 90 grade boundary there. So that's elite. We know Micah is elite. By the way, not one other guy here in the pass rush, not one other guy is a linebacker. And I say linebacker, I mean when he was drafted at. Not one guy here is a linebacker. They're all edge rushers or Aaron Donald. Put it that way, interior rusher. There are a couple other ones like Javon Hargrave, but they're all defensive linemen. Not one is a linebacker. Well, one. Micah Parsons. So,
and at least according to Quinn, the Cowboys also have a vested interest in keeping Micah Parsons labeled a linebacker. He, I remember he recently made those comments when he took over, I think, for McCarthy. I think is when he made those comments basically saying, like, no, Micah's a linebacker. Just because we have him doing D-line stuff doesn't mean he's not a linebacker.
Exactly.
And, most of us were, like, confused just because what does it matter what label you stick on him if 99.9% of the time he's playing defensive edge. But okay, Quinn, you do you.
And listen, I don't care what verbiage they use and assign to him. And I know the Cowboys don't want him to get that edge rushing number because then he gets some more money on that tag, or the money goes up for Micah.
I have to assume that's it.
But I'll say this: it's about really helping the entire the pass rushing team here. And again, Micah's going to be pass rushing probably 700 out of 900 snaps or whatever it is that he's going to be doing, like last year, right? He had about 190 linebacker snaps. What about a safety turned linebacker that's a rookie? They might be getting that number 0, Agent 0. DeMarvion Overshown. I'm mentioning him for a minute because, first and foremost, today, J. Ron Kurz brought up a comment that I felt was interesting. He said, and this all involves Dan Quinn, but he said, I didn't know that DeMarvion Overshown plays the same position as me. Interesting, because he plays safety, J. Ron Kurz. Overshown started in the Texas Longhorns as a safety and immediately transferred over to a linebacker kind of positioning. But what does J. Ron Kurz do? He plays that hybrid linebacker. Yeah. Always comes down there, run support. That's what Overshown is there for. I told you guys this was a J. Ron Kurz replacement, and Dan Quinn's reading my mind, I guess. But I also want to throw in there something I didn't expect, because I see Overshown as, again, run help. I've said it from the beginning. This guy's, it's all about the run stop on offense and the the running on offense and the run stop on defense. So when I look at Overshown, he has some of that. He has that hitting ability. He can knock a tight end or a receiver out coming over the middle. But he's there for the run support, right? Well, not only. And that's what I kind of learned today. The Marvion Overshown, the 90th pick at linebacker, but he kind of plays the J. Ron Kurz position, as J. Ron Kurz said himself. Can he be a pass rushing specialist under Dan Quinn? Listen to this, baby. He led, and I know Jason Renfro must know this, but he led Texas twice, the Longhorns, and finished second on the team once in pressure rate. So again, he led them twice in his years at Texas. Twice he led them in pressure rate, meaning he's getting back there, and the few times he gets back there, he gets in the face of the quarterback. He finished twice in first place. He finished second once in 3 years in Texas. That's big. He's also a pressure player, kind of like Micah Parsons. You hear that pressure player type guy. Overshown over his years at Texas. 2019, he had 40 pass rushing snaps. Out of those 40, he had 4 quarterback pressures and 2 sacks. Very, very effective. Very efficient. when he rushes the passer. That's a 10% pressure rate, which is mind-blowing. And he's a safety/linebacker. Overshown, 35 pass rushing snaps in 2020. He had 7 quarterback pressures out of those 35 snaps, pass rushing snaps. 7 pressures, a sack and a half, and he had a 20% pressure rate. Fantastic numbers. Again, mind-blowing from a player like him. Again, small sample size is the only reason why it's a little more exaggerated. In 2021, he had 37 pass rushing snaps. Out of those 37, he had 10 quarterback pressures and 2 sacks, a 27% pressure rate. So is he a pressure player? Overshown is going to be used to stop the run and to pressure the backfield, pressure the running back, and pressure the damn quarterback. Not every play, but he'll get some stuff. I think maybe not as much this year as next year, but he's going to start working in there as a pressure player for the Dan Quinn defense. Just thought I'd throw that in there since we're talking about DeMarcus Ware, Micah Parsons, and pass rushing, right? So, and again, I think that we also got to talk about another position on the defense, which, again, we definitely fixed, not fixed, but we definitely helped a lot of things when we brought this guy in, Stephon Gilmore, to the Dallas Cowboys. And I just want to add something to this one. In the career, a real quick little note here, with the career numbers. When it comes to career numbers here, highest career grades from the analytics of PFF.
Yeah.
From every player in the 2012, we're talking about over a decade. Players from the 2012 NFL Draft. The highest career grades, Luke Kuechly, number 1. Russell Wilson, number 2. Casey Hayward Jr., number 3. Harrison Smith, 4. Bobby Wagner, 5. And then tied for 6, Fletcher Cox with a 91 and Stephon Gilmore with a 91. As we've said in the past, I know career, okay, you lose a little bit here, but Stephon Gilmore is still a top 10 analytical ranked cornerback, no matter how you slice it in every analytic and every stat. And some people say he's even better than that. Top 7, I've seen a lot of rankings. So he's a top 10 corner, along with Trayvon Diggs.
How about this? Even if all you do is use the word consistent, maybe even if he's not playing at the same level he used to, he's still playing at a consistently good level.
And that's the thing. He's not superstar Stephon Gilmore, but he's still very damn good cornerback Stephon Gilmore.
And my other question would you say it's an upgrade over an Anthony Brown?
Yeah.
So,
and what happens to Stephon Gilmore when he has a great pass rush and Trayvon Diggs on the other side? Shh, don't say much. But what happens to Trayvon Diggs when he has that pass rush and Stephon Gilmore on the other side? Mm-hmm. You see what we're saying? So that's what I'm talking about. By the way, to finish this list out since 2012, the 2012 draft, Levante David had a 90.7, Brandon Brooks had a 90.6, and 10th on this list of this draft class, T.Y. Hilton with a 90.5, which kind of is going to bring me to the offensive side of the ball here, baby, in a quick minute. So we're talking offense now. Ooh, we're getting closer to the Dak conversation, but let me stay with a receiver who did a lot in this last couple. He's really up in his game this offseason, C.D. Lamb. He was with Delphonte Diamond. We've seen him work with him before in the past, last couple of years, on his footwork. His basically breaks out off the line of scrimmage, and kind of the crossover acceleration burst and stuff like this, that he's learning to kind of get smoother coming off the snap. He's just always in the lab working. So much love to see Lamb doing that. Again, it seems to me he just passed that wide receiver 1 spot already. He's already in the NFL. He's obviously a number 1 receiver for the Cowboys, but in the NFL, you can't say he's even lower than top 10, and I think he's top 5 as of now. So he's just he's just rising. He's just getting better and better every year, and let's continue that trajectory. That's what we want to see, right?
Yep. So
much love to C.D. Lamb on that side, and talk about tight ends for a quick minute. Well, let me pause the tight end talk, because we're going to talk about Jake Ferguson, another target for Dak Prescott. Woo. Skeptical fan first targeting with that $2 holler. Skeptical in 3rd place on the overall board. What did the man say with that $2 drop?
Is Lewis going to start over Bland?
The OTAs showed to the public, to the media, these first 2 days, OTAs, DaRon Bland was starting over Jordan Lewis. That could just be to show the media that, and they're going to switch it up. I think it is about DaRon Bland holding on to that spot since last year when he took it over for Jordan Lewis.
I think it's Bland's spot to lose now. Like, Bland has to somehow do worse in these OTAs and training camp and everything else moving forward, because I do think Jordan Lewis has been unofficially demoted, but the Cowboys are obviously not
Yeah.
closing that door, right? Like, if he doesn't do so well, Jordan Lewis will once again be starting over him. So
exactly. I think it's always the hook is there, right, to pull him if he needs to.
Yep.
But I do think that.
And Lewis should be 100% healthy. Yes.
Yeah.
His injury
Jordan
is
Lewis,
once again
he's
the type
back.
of injury that he's going to be.
Jordan Lewis on the field with DaRon Bland. Just DaRon Bland was one that was showing as the slot guy.
Okay.
With and again at the edge at the outside was Stephon Gilmore. There was no Trayvon Diggs, the one we saw. We know he'll be the other guy. No Trayvon Diggs had Nashawn Wright there, but in the slot was DaRon Bland. So good. Just want to make sure we go on that. And by the way, baby, that drop by Skeptical Fan taking Mark to 96 points. Mm-hmm. We also got a drop from the man who's leading the entire board here, the overall and the Cash App. He dropped a $10 holler. And baby, why don't you tell him what he said? Tell everybody what he said.
I simp for MCW.
There you go.
Thank you, Snug.
Snug X. We know why. We know. He's just reiterating why. He wants to make sure everybody knows why. We hear you, man. And much love to Snug X, who, by the way, is about to be crowned champion here on both boards, a full takeover here. So much love to the man, Snugx, and that $10 Cooper Rush / DeAndre Hopkins. I'm joking. Cooper Rush holler. So any quick comments as I get ready to talk about some tight ends? And I know Snugx think about other tight ends, but I'm sorry, baby. But let's hit the chat up a couple quick comments, and then we'll get back.
Sears said anybody but Anthony Brown because he is ass.
And yeah, I saw some video about Anthony Brown out there. Anthony Brown looked like he's dying to get out. He's putting out videos of his working out. So he's dying to get signed by someone. I have no problem pushing off Nashawn Wright if Anthony Brown can do better than him, but make him our sixth corner.
Yeah. Mike Aldana said pick your poison as far as Diggs or Gilmore.
Exactly. And the pass rush, you got Bland or Lewis in the slot. Ooh, please, baby. Mm-hmm. Just got to stop that run.
And Brandon also pointing out Gilmore's 34. He still has like 1 or 2 good years left.
Well, I think he's younger. He's younger than 34. Gilmore's like 31, I think.
You sure?
Brandon Cooks and him are about the same age, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
So, I mean, I'll check right now. I'm not, I'm entirely sure. But any other last comments, maybe, while I check?
No, I think we kind of touched on most of them since, we just touched on the fact that Jordan Lewis is healthy and good to go and ready to
Gilmore just turned 32, I think.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's going to turn 33 in September. So he's 33.
So you guys split the difference.
Close there. And I think Brandon Cooks is 31, if I'm not mistaken there. Brandon Cooks is 29. He's going to be 30 on the 25th. So he's very young, and we got him for 2 years. Gilmore 1. But staying on the offensive side for a minute here, baby. Another target for Dak Prescott. You guys are voting right now on Dak. With his issues that he had last year and other issues maybe in his career. What's the main issue going on? Is it Dak himself? Is there other things going on? What do you think is the main? We know all those issues I mentioned on the screen in the poll are definitely issues involved here. Everybody has a piece to. Well, that's the main issue. I want to know what you guys think. But as we get closer, we talked about CeeDee Lamb, a target for Dak. Talk about no Dalton Schultz. We got Luke Schoonmaker. But what about Jake Ferguson, baby? First and foremost, in the NFC East, PFF analytically, we talk a lot about PFF today. They have some breakout candidates. And the breakout candidate, I don't care about the other guys. Reed Blankenship for the Eagles, Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants, Cameron Curl for the Commanders. Jake Ferguson is the pick by PFF as the breakout candidate, the breakout player in the NFC East for the Dallas Cowboys. And that would be a major plus for us if he can have that kind of year. And I think you might call me crazy, baby. And we have our doubts a little bit.
I believe it.
We have some doubts. We always have our doubts because, second year, he's a 4th-round pick. So was Dalton Schultz. It took him 2 years to get on that field. Ferguson got in there last year, had a lot of snaps, and is he ready to take over like Dalton Dalton Schultz did last when he took over for the hurt Blake Jarwin? Well, I love where he's heading. Remember, baby, I want to make sure I remind everybody. Remember what Travis Kelce said about him? Travis Kelce said there's 3 top future tight ends he's looking at, and that is the Falcon guy, Pitts, right? Kyle Pitts, the guy from the Giants as tight ends, and Jake Ferguson. And it's interesting, guys, because Jake Ferguson was invited to attend university again. He's going back to school.
Oh.
He's attending Tight End University, TEU. And who's running that? Travis Kelce. Again, we know the 3 guys. Greg Olsen, Travis Kelce, and George Kittle. They run this tight end university. And now Jake Ferguson is really trying to cement his spot as a number 1 tight end in the NFL. Ferguson is headed back to school, guys, and of course in the traditional way. But he's trying to obtain. He's not trying to obtain his master's degree, doctorate, or anything like that. He needs to get his tight end degree as a number one guy in the NFL because Ferguson's been invited by some of the best to participate with the best quality and teachers of the tight end position in the NFL and in the world, really.
Yeah.
And it's happening in at TEU, Tight End University Summit in June. So next month, a couple days away, basically next week. This event, again, is run by Travis Kelce, Greg Olsen, and George Kittle. Other players that have been invited, just so you guys know some names around the NFL. Noah Fant, Dallas Goedert, Daniel Bellinger, which is the guy from the Giants that he also said was the next up-and-coming guy there, Chig Akawanu, and Pat Freiermuth. These are the guys that are up-and-coming guys, and they're going to this tight end university to learn the tricks of the trade from the best of the best. During the Super Bowl press conference, remember, that's when Travis Kelce mentioned Jake Ferguson by name as someone that he followed this year and believes he's one of the next big tight ends in the NFL. And again, he said he basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but Kelce said Ferguson reminded him of the player he used to be when he came into the league. Interesting. That's high praise.
I was going to say, that's some serious praise there.
So, again, Dak got the CeeDee Lamb target. Now we got Jake Ferguson kind of brewing as a possible real target for this offense in this coming year. This will be the second year for this tight end summit and should be taking place, again, we said, sometime in June. Not sure of the date yet, but if Ferguson wants to learn what it's like to be a dominating tight end in the NFL, there is no better institution to be enrolled with as far as going back to school, right? So Jake Ferguson, I love the fact that he's the breakout player analytically, and he's doing everything he can to be that breakout player for us on this team, for our Cowboys, and in the NFL as a tight end. That to me, it gives a lot of confidence to me to put into Jake Ferguson. Any thoughts maybe on that?
No, I mean, like I said, it's obviously it's a little bit more underrated, but it does seem like the Cowboys have at least turned the corner from the Jason Witten years, not in a bad way, because obviously Witten's great, but we never found anyone outside of Witten that could come close to producing for us. We have finally been able to do that now with Schultz and possibly Ferguson as well. I'm just saying, like, it does feel like we've turned a bit of a corner, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Ferguson can do, and of course, is he laying the foundation for Schoonmaker to also, take over in the future? Because Ferguson could play a very Dalton Schultz-esque role for us as well.
I mean, he definitely has that Dalton Schultz. Every quality Schultz has similar to his, and he's even got number 86. I believe, baby, Schoonmaker and Ferguson are both starters. That's what I think the Cowboys are going to do. I think that the Cowboys, once we get rolling some kind of offensive game plan, when we use the three receivers, we'll have either Ferguson or Schoonmaker this year, probably more Ferguson. But when we use two tight ends, it's going to be both those guys. Hendershot's the guy that loses here, in my opinion. Hendershot, still undrafted. He may have some specific design snaps, but he's maybe not the all-around guy that Ferguson and Schoonmaker are going to be. That's what maybe the reason. And the Cowboys use two tight ends enough that's qualified as a starter, especially when you look at Schoonmaker playing a fullback role, playing that that slot receiver. You can block still with him. He can go line up anywhere as a blocker or a receiver. Schoonmaker has like 4 positions he can line up as. So when you think of him like that, getting about 40 snaps a game, that's about 65% of the snaps. That's a starter. Ferguson might get 60 snaps in a game or 55 snaps. He'll get maybe 90% of the snaps, but I think they're going to use a lot of. My point is they're going to use a lot of both tight ends, and once in a while you throw in a Hendershot. Is my thought. And don't sleep on Princeton Fant, who can do that short yardage stuff as an undrafted tight end. Don't sleep on Hunter Lipke, who, of course, we know can do a lot from that fullback spot as well as catch and block. So Rojo running the ball. I'm just saying there's a lot of different guys that can be pushed around because of the versatility of guys like Schoonmaker, Lipke, and others on this team, Yeah. So, just to talk about that kind of stuff there, I thought that was good to kind of get out. I'm checking here. What's up, Burn Bar in the house? Bama fans shouting out. Hey, we had a rough one, guys. We had a very rough day today. But we are kind of back. I see when I talk Cowboy, I feel like a new person again. So again, appreciate everybody here who hit that thumbs up, that like button, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, followed us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. And we're going to talk about the offensive lineman here in a minute. And there's some quotes that the wife has. And we'll, get rolling on that. Much love to everybody here. I see the Nightbot. We got Brandon Katz. I see him in here. I'm pretty sure he's an Eagle fan, right? We got All In Splenda Poppy chilling here. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Much love. Bruce got the Toxic Juice. What is up, guys? We had a great stream like Akeem Sears, Retro Scotty, and on. Got a Skeptical Fan. We had a great stream last night. A lot of music, a lot of different kind of music, a lot of fun, a lot of interesting discussions. We had some on-screen fun as well. And, it was a very interesting live stream. I think we went live for like 3.5 hours last night. Oh, man, I only remember about an hour and a half of it. I'm going to be real with you guys. So, anyways, I will actually kick off some of this stuff here. The wife will be back here in a minute. But very interesting stuff. And somebody asked about it earlier. I think it was Skeptical Fan. Asked about Terrence Steele. And the situation with Terrence Steele at that right tackle spot. I truly think that he should be back over this injury by week 1 of the season. But I just have a feeling sometimes, will they really be, will the player, will Terrence Steele be ready to go when it comes to like hitting that field, confidence in the leg and the surgery? That's my fear. I think we got to have a plan B. I think that the Cowboys are doing, with Tyron Smith playing that right tackle spot, is purposely doing a plan B kind of mindset setup. And with that in mind, Tyron Smith is going to play a lot on, a lot of snaps probably in the training camp, probably in the preseason. Whenever he gets any snap, he might not get any snaps in preseason, but he'll be playing that right tackle spot.
Brandon's not an Eagle fan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he. I'm sorry about that, Brandon. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe the orange. Thing. There's another guy who's has a little orange ball with a B in it.
I think there's another guy with a very similar name to you that is an Eagle fan. That's here.
Sorry about that. So. I apologize. You're a Cowboy fan. Cowboy for life.
I know, like I said, you. Sorry, baby. The dog, of course, had to choose the perfect time to use the restroom there.
But as we get to what you're about to speak on here, when it comes to Terrence Steele, and other people spoke as well, because Terrence Steele getting ready to play that right tackle spot. I just think the Cowboys are getting ready to have Tyron Smith play that spot on the right side until Terrence Steele comes back. And I think that Tyron Smith will probably end up, at the very least being the swing tackle for the Cowboys. And at the very most, he'll be playing left tackle after Terrence Steele gets back. So, and moving Tyler Smith to the left guard spot, which is the whole musical chair situation. If Terrence Steele is not there week 1, Tyron Smith plays there. Tyler Smith got to play left tackle. That's the question we have of who plays that left guard spot. Still unanswered. But maybe a couple little answers we got here from 3 guys that spoke, baby. 3 guys. Terrence Steele, Tyler Smith, and Matt Farniok, believe it or not. So take it away, baby. What did Terrence Steele say about his rehab coming back? And what's his plan going forward?
Something interesting. He's kind of taken on a little bit more of an anti-inflammation diet. He said, I found out a lot of the foods I eat cause inflammation. I'm eating super clean, so none of the foods I eat can give me inflammation. I even cut out drinking on the weekend, all of that. The strength is there. My quad muscle is there. The pass sets feel good. Run sets feel good. The doc said he hasn't seen someone my size recover as fast as I've been recovering.
Man, that is fan-freaking-tastic. That right there, it's just the first step. We know we saw him on the field. We want all these 3 tackles on the field, hopefully. But, Tyron Smith had a couple of snaps, was out. Tyler Smith played a lot on the left side, of course. Every snap was on the left side. And then Terrence Steele was not on that field playing and practicing, but he was on that field in his jersey. And he just feels like he's definitely heading back ahead of schedule, or at least the right time. I mean, even with his big size, he's saying his doctor's never seen anybody heal as fast. Knock on wood, it continues with Terrence Steele. Now, Tyler Smith also spoke, number 73, front and center of your screen, and he playing the left tackle. I'm sorry, the left tackle spot, the blind side for the quarterback. He has concentrated on the left guard spot as well, but he's not been told yet what he's going to do. Is he going to stay at left tackle? He's played mostly left tackle in practices. Last year, of course, most of it was left tackle, but left guard still an option for him.
So basically, he's just kind of assuming that it's going to be what he's been doing, right? He said, quote, "We've got a lot of good people, a lot of good players. Right now, we're taking it day by day. we'll see how it goes, because last year it changed week by week on the fly. So we'll see how it shakes out.
It's all about the coaches being ready for making getting the right guy next up in line. Got to get that guy ready. That's the key.
No, and I think that's obviously why he's just kind of been doing what he was doing before. Because if the coaches want to move him here, want to move him there, it's probably going to change as the season goes on.
Basically adjusting as injuries hit. Basically, what you can read between the lines. That's what he's saying now. With the actual left guard spot still open to me. I mean, Tyler Smith, okay, but then musical chairs. Who's going to stay in that spot when what the Cowboys want to do is have Terrence Steele on the right and have Tyler Smith on the left? So who's going to play left guard? Is it Matt Farniok? I hope not, but he did speak today, or over the last couple of days he spoke. We got his quotes, baby. What did he say?
We have a great problem. In all reality, we want to put out our best 5, but we have a best, 7. That's one good thing about here, is that if something does happen, we have people that are going to be able to respond and able to fill that hole and play at the same caliber as everyone else. There's not going to be a drop-off. So, and he feels like part of the reason for that is his own positional flexibility, which is something that, for example, Tyler Smith, we just touched on that just 3 seconds ago.
But Farniok can play center, of course. He can play left guard, right guard. He can play left tackle, right tackle. He can play all 5 positions. 7th round pick Farniok, though, is he really? We've seen him play a little bit. He's like a third stringer, maybe. That kind of depth. What did he say about his versatility?
He did say, quote, that it feels good to get
first team
practice reps at that left guard spot specifically, saying, quote, it's just like anything. The more reps you get out there, it becomes a little more second nature. It's just a position battle. We believe in putting the best 5 out, and my goal is to prove that I am one of those best 5. So, can't forget the guys like Chuma and Asim Richards. Are,
Rookie, Awesome also, Richards, yeah.
They're
in the mix. There's you never know. TJ Bass might show up. He's not going to start. But I'm just saying, those are the guys fighting it out for that guard spot. It's just kind of a pseudo starting spot. If Tyler Smith plays tackle, he's fine. But if he plays guard, Tyler Smith's the guard. That's that set in stone. Now so again,
Farniok is going to be one of those very valuable players. Not because he is the best player ever, but his flexibility is basically going to make him the golden boy of the offensive line backups. Yeah, I mean,
the Cowboys love that flex and all that, versatility. They're going to find a way to probably keep Farniok. He has some starting games too, I think. He had started 2 games last year or something like that. So, he didn't do great, but, he's got some starting experience, I guess. Now, let me make sure I get back in the mix here. Let's move it on to the last topic of the day. It's Dak Prescott, but we're really going to start.
I was actually going to say before we do that, because this is the best way to do it, let me go ahead and hit up the poll that we have going on right now. Just kind of show where we're at, because we did ask at the beginning of the stream when it comes to Dak, where do you put more of the blame as far as, his performance, right?
Well, specifically, it's actually risky situations for Dak, throwing interceptions off of those risks. Why is this happening? What's the blame for that?
So the 4 options here are Dak Prescott himself, the receiver's consistent lack of separation, the bad coaching from Kellen Moore / Scott Linehan, right? And receivers dropping or tipping passes causing interceptions.
Dropping, that leads to tips or interceptions, yeah.
As far as how the votes are going so far, 35% of you guys are saying...
how many people are in there first?
Well, this is with 46 votes so far.
We're almost at 50.
35% of you guys are saying it's mainly on Dak. 33% are saying bad coaching. Wow,
so it's basically a split right there.
And it's almost a 50-50 split between the rest of the votes left, 15% and 17% respectively, as far as receivers' lack of separation and receivers' drops.
So basically, you got 33, 33, 33. It's like 33% on the receivers, 33% on Dak Prescott, 33% on the coaching. Which one was, I guess they're all equally responsible. And that's my point. It's on everyone. And thank you guys for making my point. It's on everyone almost down the middle exactly. Right now it says Dak is the main problem. I disagree. We'll discuss that. But I'll tell you why. I'm going to give you the reasons why. It's not. I went into this saying maybe Dak is the problem here, right? So let's get into this. First and foremost, baby, Mike McCarthy. It was a 33, the 33rd team is a analytic. They do a website. They have their own little, talking heads and analysts. They have their head coach power rankings, and they put Mike McCarthy all the way at 21 out of 32 coaches. Mike McCarthy 21 out of 32 coaches. That's way too low. No matter what, back to back. Even if you don't like McCarthy, back to back 12-win seasons. Come on now, right? Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy have almost identical head coaching records as a career, resume-wise. Payton is ranked 4th, 17 spots higher than McCarthy. It's just about PR. It's about which is the hot name to talk about. McCarthy ain't no hotness there. So, but Payton, Sean Payton, everyone the big talk the whole offseason, right? So now he's automatically at the 4th spot there, just because who knows what he's going to do with the Broncos in his next stint. I agree. They both got the same kind of. They both got one Super Bowl. They both won about the same amount of playoff games, regular season games. You know what I mean? And yet Sean Payton somehow is so much better than Mike McCarthy. It just makes no sense to me. McCarthy, by the way, when you look at the last 2 years, he's got 12 wins. McCarthy, you look at his career, he's got a very similar record to the career record as Sean Payton. Yet Payton is 17 spots higher than him. McCarthy is also 5th in wins among all active coaches. I don't put him 5th, but you put him between 8 and 11.
I think people just like Sean Payton more as like a person. He's just more personable. Maybe, because McCarthy is a little bit just, drier, not in a bad way. Just, I get the impression from, what we have seen and known of Sean Payton, that he's just a little bit more of a friendly people type of person.
And I agree, but...
So maybe that's why people feel that way.
17 spots
it has very
different?
little to do with...
It's good PR.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like, record-wise, it doesn't really matter much, but people just feel like Sean Payton is better because they just feel that way. No,
that's the problem with feeling, right? It's not about facts. Like, some people feel Dak is the one to blame here. I'm touching on this because we're talking about McCarthy. And the change didn't come on offense because of McCarthy. Now, that was, just so you guys know, Ross Tucker did this from 33rd team. And he had Andy Reid in 1st, and Belichick in 2nd, and Mike Tomlin in 3rd. With, of course, Sean Payton in 4th, and Nick Sirianni from the Eagles in 5th. Isn't that funny? So, anyways, that's kind of the way that broke down. But let's just continue here for a second, because what's going to look like with Mike McCarthy? The Cowboys have an interesting situation this year, in my opinion, with the return of Mike McCarthy as the play caller. That's major. It's a major difference. Go back to, and this leads me to the Dak conversation, because Mike McCarthy, go back to his Green Bay years. In the early Green Bay years, McCarthy fielded one of the most aggressive passing offenses on 3rd down. This is the 3rd down conversation. It's a formula that does work if you have the right personnel. I think McCarthy finally has a chance to put in the guys that fit the best along with Dak. Because Dak's the quarterback, Dak ain't going anywhere. So he has to work around that, which is what I've been asking from Kellen Moore for 4 years. If your guys help your quarterback. Don't stick with your stubbornness. Get guys in there that fit the scheme, that fit the quarterback, that fit, make your adjustments. But Kellen Moore didn't do none of that. Now, Keyshawn Johnson said this, quote, Dak Prescott is better than Joe Burrow. Do I believe that? Yeah, my point is they're not elite yet. They're not the elite quarterbacks. They are right below that. They're in tier 2. So who cares if Joe Burrow is better or Dak is better? It's who you think. It's who you probably like better, right? So, of course, I'm going to say Dak. But that's not the point. It's irrelevant. They're both in the same tier. Let's keep it there,
I was just about to say, to me, I do think it comes down to skill sets. People forget that
Burrow was in the Super Bowl, so I guess
all types of different quarterbacks are going to be better or worse at certain things. Dak excels as a specific subset of skills as a quarterback. I think Burrow excels at some different ones. But in this discussion, I feel like because of that Super Bowl appearance, you do have to give the nod to Burrow. Because
I agree. That's why I said
talking that. NFL, and when it comes to the NFL, those types of things matter.
Agreed 1,000%. That's why I even put Joe Burrow in front of Dak right now. But are they in a different tier? They're in the same tier.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
On that I agree.
In my opinion. Now, Brian Broaddus, who I love hearing him, what he's got to say. Usually he has a lot of value behind it. And again, even when I disagree, I like to look into it. And today was a shitstorm started. Brian Broaddus, who has said on the chat, on the Cowboys.com before, that he said that the turnovers are part of Dak's DNA. And again, how was Dak's first couple of years in the league? Because there weren't many turnovers going on. Just saying, if you guys, people have short memories. Brian Broaddus responded just by this about that comment about Like, what's wrong with you? Like, Dak, you forgot his first part of his career. And Brian Broder said, quote, continue to keep putting your head in the sand. Dak is not changing. He will continue to take chances, and that will lead to turnovers. Now, is that true? First and foremost, before I say anything of my little deep dive here, any quarterback who takes more chances is going to have more interceptions, going to have more issues, and you're going to make more mistakes the more chances you take. So let's just be real about that. Of course, Brian Broadus. Dak's going to take a lot of chances. It's going to put him in a more riskier situation. I agree. But here's the hope, baby. It's the context here. It's not just it's all Dak because the ball left his hand. It's not always that simple. In fact, it usually never is. The hope is this. Now, with McCarthy taking over, that Dak is going to be allowed to take selective chances into those tight window throws, especially on third down. But that's compared to every quarterback's going to take chances, and sometimes you're going to screw up or not screw up. Dak is one of the best third down quarterbacks in the league, believe it or not. And he's also one of the best tight throw quarterbacks. So why did he have this issue, right? Because it seems like the Cowboys, with Kellen Moore and other issues as well, receivers and Dak himself sometimes, but it's about having to take chances within a broad, tight window environment. It's just like the whole offense is based off of tight window throws, and taking chances on third and longs. That's what the Kellen Moore offense was accustomed to do. That's what it's built to do. Dak is told to take chances in this offense. Dak is told that you got to throw these balls into tight windows. And it's not just in a game, or it's not just in a selection of Dak knowing that he's had to do this. It's about the whole game plan's kind of that. That's kind of my point. So Dak throwing in the tight windows, you say he sucks at. See, he sucks because he had a bet. Well, he's actually very comfortable. One of the best in the NFL. And that's not going to change. He's always going to stay comfortable throwing in the tight windows. The tight window throws are typically some of the highest payoff plays on the field, right? But the tendency, that tendency of being aggressive, throwing in the tight windows, that does not explain the interceptions that spiked with Dak Prescott this year. Why did that happen? Well, some people, when you look at the average line for a quarterback, all right, some people are saying that Dak is more like the typical quarterback on third downs. He's actually, again, guys, he's closer to the line. He's a little above the line, but he's not average. He's above average, but he's not great on third downs. But why is that? We got to look at the context here. Most quarterbacks avoid taking risks on third and long. And they also end up with lower conversion rates. Dak has huge conversion rates, and he takes a lot more risks. Still above average as a quarterback. Even with these other quarterbacks not even taking any risks,
but that also
better.
Means that he has more mess-ups because he's taking chances where other quarterbacks aren't.
Correct. And Dak's risk profile on third downs, that's the key, because that's where it all comes down. That comes down to the route running, to Dak Prescott's decision-making, and the coaching. That's the big one. So Dak, when he's throwing the ball on those third downs, I'm bringing this up because how many did he have in the regular season? I think he had 14 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 15. But he had his interception that he threw in the regular season, not the two against the Niners, but those had their own issues. But we're talking about regular season. 8 of them were on third down. 8 out of your 14 or 15 picks are on third down. So there's an issue there. Why is this third down? What's going on third down? So look at some of the. I've seen some of the videos. About 6 of them. It's third and incredibly long. 3rd and 23. 3rd and 15. Now, do I think he should take those risks? I've said it. Do not. But that's the Kellen Moore game plan. You gotta play for that. You gotta wait for it to work out and throw it into a tight window. Dak Prescott. That's what the deal is. That's the coaching. So Dak's profile on third downs. 8 of his interceptions occurred there. Remember, who was our 11 personnel? That was on 11 personnel, every single one of them. You guys remember who our third receiver was, right? I mean, we had a second receiver first was CeeDee Lamb, but we had a still injured Gallup. Let's be real, and we had Noah motherfucking Brown. So that's a below average receiving core. 11 personnel, 3 receivers out there, right? That's really what hurt. There was nobody open, right? It seemed like there was not many people open because of the receivers, because of the game plan, the play calls. Again, this is the Mike McCarthy factor. Going to fix a little bit of this. The ugly side of Dak's risky throws. The ugly side. This is where Dak is to blame. The interceptions. Not every single one of them, but a lot of the interceptions. Dak took a bad, it was basically a bad decision-making situation for Dak Prescott. He forces throws down that far down the field into a tight window. Guess what happens? You tend to throw more interceptions, especially when your receivers are Noah Brown and he's not creating separation. Gallup's not creating separation. Now you're throwing these deep passes down the field into a tight window and they're getting picked more often. Well, that's what happens when it's 3rd and 25 and you got to go and Dak's got to throw it deep. He doesn't have to. It seems that the Cowboys are built their offense to have a play for a 3rd and 25. Unfortunately, that's not the way it really works, Kellen Moore. So you go back and you watch all of Dak's interceptions, all right? Because, again, you throw more interceptions. The main reason the league does not, as a whole, throw more interceptions because a lot of quarterbacks on 3rd and long, what do they do on 3rd and long? Check down.
Yeah.
Dump down. Safe, conservative pass. On 3rd and 18, they ain't going to go 28 yards down the field most of the time. Exactly, baby. Out of bounds. They scramble out.
Basically every option but the option that Dak Prescott tends to choose.
And Dak's decision-making is to blame, but that's the play call. That is the design of the play. His options are only downfield or throw an interception close. So he goes deep, and there's a pick anyways because there's... Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's one of the reasons why I've said before that Dak is a fan of most of Kellen Moore's offensive game plan. Like throughout this time, he has been a fan just because I think it leans into and plays into Dak's desire to want to do things like this.
I agree. As a quarterback, he wants to see himself do these things.
Right or wrong, I'm just saying. I think that's one of the reasons why he has always been a fan of Kellen Moore's ideas.
But then when you look at the interceptions that happened, right? 14 in the regular season. Mm-hmm. You go back and, guys, watch every pick that he had. I think he maybe had 15, but you can say with almost full objectivity, at least 7 of those 14 or 15 interceptions were not fully on Dak Prescott. I can blame Dak for throwing it into the Green Bay end zone on a 3rd down and 7 or whatever it was, and he forced a throw into, where again, Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb ran the wrong route. They ran into each other. And Dak should never have thrown that. That's a Dak mistake, but in the Kellen Moore concept, that does not work. That's a stupid fucking play by Kellen Moore to call and a stupid fucking play for Dak Prescott to throw into that kind of... And that hurt us. In that same game against Green Bay, Dak threw an interception to CeeDee Lamb towards him. Mm-hmm. Why? Was it Dak? It was a horrible looking pass, but it wasn't on Dak. It was a Kellen Moore route option... a receiver route option. Right? So he's running out of it. CeeDee Lamb took the wrong option and Dak took the right option, leaving the cornerback to just get an easy pick. That CD wasn't even there. A bad route run by CeeDee Lamb. Dak couldn't really be blamed for that one. CeeDee Lamb needs to be there. So I'm just saying, you can see how there's a lot of different blames here. But the one thing that's kind of consistent is the bad play calling. That's still the undercurrent on all these issues. So as I continue, let me continue because again, at least half of 7 of those interceptions were not on Dak Prescott. Definitely not fully on him. You'll see receivers not running the proper route. You'll see balls being deflected or tipped in the air by the Cowboy-owned receiver, right? It hits their hands, tips it up in the air. You see arms getting hit for Dak Prescott when he's trying to throw. Offensive line, which I didn't even put on the list. Stop blaming Dak for everything. Dak is far from the biggest problem on the offense. And a reminder, guys, of what Dak was dealing with last year, and I have not even mentioned, I'm purposely not mentioning the offensive line. We had the 28th best pass blocking offensive line. And I'll mention the cause of what did Dak do about that? He improved the team. I'll explain. But Dak was dealing with a lot of crap, guys. Not all of his interceptions were on the wide receivers, of course. Some were. Some were on Dak. A lot of them were on that coaching, on the game plan. But when you look at the receivers, I'm not trying to go after these receivers last year, but baby, the Cowboy trio of receivers of CeeDee Lamb, no offense to CeeDee, he was great, but Michael Gallup and Noah Brown, these guys, we were among the worst in creating separation and some of the best volley the ball up in the air receivers in the NFL last year. As far as drops and running the wrong routes, not creating separation, we were one of the worst receiving corps.
Yeah, the only separation was between us and the ball.
Exactly. CeeDee Lamb cannot be... Listen, I'm not saying CeeDee Lamb is the problem here. He is damn good. He's one of the best in the NFL at receiver. Behind him, you have an injured Gallup last year. And you have career receivers that are number 4 and 5 and 6 on an undrafted rookies that are coming into play. Dennis Houston was week 1 starter. I mean, this is, again, you see the issues are not just Dak Prescott. We just can't yell at Dak. If you focus only on the bad things, you miss the good things Dak does. Mm-hmm. And I got to remind the people that he does do some good shit. The Cowboys posted some of the NFL's highest conversion rates when passing on third down. That is all because of Dak Prescott making shit happen. Not the Kellen Moore plays. It's Dak Prescott making things happen. Why do I say that? Well, first you got to weigh the cost of throwing these 8 interceptions on third down. Dak threw 8 out of his 14 interceptions were on third down. Those 8 interceptions on third down versus trying to extend a third and long or on a third down, trying to extend the drive or throwing the interception. How do you kind of measure that? The cost of throwing that pick or punting the ball, or trying to get that first down and continue your drive. Dak had, listen to this, baby, he had the NFL's second highest throw selection value on third downs. This is a method developed by Lucky Profit and More Analytics, yes. But the throw selection estimates the EPA for a given throw, assuming typical completion percentage and yards after catch values. Dak was second. And again, this is very analytical, but the point here is his throw selection value on third downs was the second best in the NFL. Just so you guys know, we had Cooper Rush in there. He was 47th in the NFL. Dak makes a huge difference in a very positive way. For even the Dak haters can't say anything more about that. That's just the way it is. And Dak has his issues. But when you look at Dak on third down, he's one of the best in the NFL. And he still had a lot of his interceptions on third down because they're third and extremely long. Third, and I'm not going to go into the offensive line, the sacks, the bad play calls that happen on second and first down. But
obviously, one of the positive changes from this is now with McCarthy taking over. Hopefully, we see a lot less of these types of situations. Right?
Well, we know that Dak Prescott is going to have 2 or 3 seconds for a read or two. He knows the play. If the read is not there in 2 seconds, the whole offense is going to roll out, and he's going to roll out as well. This is what I've been asking for 6 freaking years. And I think Mike McCarthy might have found what we've been talking about for 6 years here. You roll out Dak Prescott, extending the play, and you get someone will be open. It's kind of like playground a little bit, right? Kind of like Mahomes does. Actually, I'm actually going to talk about Mahomes here because on third down, baby, Dak's ability. This is the thing people don't understand with that 28th ranked pass offensive line that we had last year. 28th in the NFL. Pass blocking. Mm-hmm. On third down, Dak's ability to evade and get away from sacks and still getting the ball to prime locations is a remarkably rare skill. What I'm trying to say is he gets out of a definite sack and gets the ball in a place where that third down could be made. A third and long. That is something that's very hard to do, to get out of sacks and under pressure, place the ball in the right spot. On those third down pressure plays, Dak is second best at this. And again, one of his finest traits since he's retooled his game, I think, after the 2019 offseason, it lowers the risk of a turnover in a sack fumble kind of way. Because you stay in the pocket too long, hand gets hit, football pops out. Now, what I'm saying, he gets out of sacks and creates something. People don't give Dak way enough credit to what he has helped this offense with. Not the interception on third down caused by mainly bad play calling, in my opinion. The routes run, Dak's decision-making drops.
It's easier to focus on the negative than the
I know, but hey, listen, how do you find out things without focusing on what you messed up at, right? So, listen, as I finish this up here, it's interesting to me, guys, the way that Dak avoids sacks on third downs. He times his release a certain way, which is, even though, again, Mahomes escapes from the pocket, Dak times his release. It's 2 different ways of avoiding sacks on third downs. So they're different how they do it. Mahomes' style, it works so much better in practice because it extends the play further down the field and results in more open targets downfield. That's what I believe the Cowboys are going to do. That was last year, Dak, in the pocket, timing his release, knowing he only had a certain amount of time because his offensive line could not block long enough, and his Kellen Moore offense took too long to develop. So now we got West Coast offense. Boom, boom, 2 seconds, he splits out. Now we got a Mahomes-style offense for Dak Prescott, which is beneficial. And I've been saying this for 6 years right here on this channel. Mahomes receivers, what they do different than Cowboy receivers? Mm-hmm. Let me explain. Mahomes receivers continually work to get open in the route. Even if the routes run, they still work to get open. Cowboy receivers, if you watch it, guys, watch it in the all 22. It's right there on your screens. Cowboy receivers run their predictable curl routes and stop. I'm not joking, guys. What can Dak do? Tell me. When these guys run their post down the field and then just walk it out, they're not trying to get open for Dak. That's going to change this year. They're going to come back and get open because the play is always going to be extending. So this is the Kellen Moore issue And it comes from Linehan originally, and even Garrett, but it's Kellen Moore the last 4 years. So what I'm trying to say is Mahomes receivers get open for their quarterback. Cowboy receivers run their routes and stop. They're not told to do anymore. It allows defensive backs to cross right in front of them, which allows his passes, Dak's passes, to be intercepted easier. Cowboys are the only team that this happens to this frequently. It's not bad Dak quarterbacking. It's bad damn coaching. Specifically, play calling, and not even play calling, it's play installation, which is what's going on right now by McCarthy. He's fixing that. This is 4 years of disaster from Kellen Moore. When your receivers are not getting open, it just throw the ball down. That's where I blame Dak. Just you got to dump it. Dak has to dump it down instead of going for those 25-yard trying to make the third downs. Even though he's great at it, it's worse to take that risk so often. And then Dak is forced into those risks sometimes because of a lot of times, drops, Dak's fault here, a penalty there. But in the end, it's the underlying issue that's consistent, and that's bad offensive scheme, play calling, and coaching. So if you're going to just check the ball down on third and long, do not throw it into three guys 25 yards down the field. Finally, I'm just going to finish it this way, and I want to know what you think. Maybe I want to close out the poll, so make sure you guys vote as we close out tonight's stream here. But we're still talking here for a little bit. The last thing you should do on third and long is take a risk of any kind, especially on your own side of the field, or when you're about to score at least a field goal like we did in that Green Bay game and threw a pick. It's more painful emotionally to try and fail on that 3rd and 21. You know what I mean? No one has ever made SportsCenter for checking down and punting. So, of course, that's why you say Dak likes to go for that bigger play because he feels that he's the guy that can carry it, right? It's entirely safe to check down the ball. He did the first couple of years in his career. It's a form of self-care. So I blamed everybody on this list, even the offensive lineman I throw in there. I can even throw in their front office as well, but not enough room to put the blame. Just when you look at the offensive kind of play calling, listen to this, baby. First down rate on third down targets. CeeDee Lamb, 48% of the time making a first down on third down. It's a little less than half. Gallup, 43%, and Noah Brown, 47%. Imagine if he hadn't made those other catches that hit him in the hands. He would have been probably over 50%. Third down target depth beyond the first down marker. On third downs, how far over the first down marker did CeeDee Lamb go? Not his fault. This is by the play call. 2.3 yards. That's called going to the sticks, guys. That's predictable. Gallup, 4.7 yards. He was supposed to be sent down the field, but he had no separation. And Noah Brown, he was sent 5.7 yards down the field, but he wasn't open either because he just ran the ball. He ran his pattern out of bounds. Third down interceptions now. The 8 interceptions Dak had on third down, who were his targets? CeeDee Lamb had 2 of those targets. He did cause one of them. And I think the other one was in the end zone. So it was a bad pass by Dak, but it was a bad route by CeeDee Lamb. Gallup had 3 passes thrown to him. Dak, I think, was blamed for most of those. I think 2 out of the 3 on Dak. And Noah Brown. We know that Jacksonville game, that cost us, right? That was a third down play, by the way. So 3 from Noah Brown, off of Noah Brown's hands or off of targeting Noah Brown. So obviously Dak had to make better decisions based on the play calling, but he had to squeeze the ball into these guys that are not creating separation because by the time the ball reached these guys, Michael Gallup, not CeeDee Lamb, but Michael Gallup and Noah Brown, they each averaged some of the lowest of the NFL separation levels. They did not separate from coverage. There's no talk about these. Whenever Dak had to throw to Gallup or Noah Brown, it was always tight windows. Always tight windows, predictable play calls. What can Dak fly the ball to them? I mean, what do you want Dak to do, guys? So again, how do these tight window throws, Dak had to throw tight window throws to predictable routes at the sticks, on third down, to the first down marker. Come on, guys. With all of this, the receivers, low catch rates, 6 interceptions on these plays. Somehow, though, how did Dak get high conversion rates on third down? Interesting, right? So in the early years of Green Bay and Mike McCarthy, aggressive passing offense on third down, I think McCarthy has been trying to put together the right personnel around Dak to kind of clinch this thing going forward. And using the West Coast offense, less reads for Dak, more fast-paced, I think that's going to be very helpful. And you roll Dak out left, roll him out right, extend the play. Now we're cooking on offense. That's all. That's my 2 cents, baby. I want to know what you think, and I want to know what Clark motherfucking Kent thinks with that $2 holla up on that board for us, baby. What did the man say?
He said Dak is America's QB. No excuses, bro. Much love, Clark Kent. Appreciate you, of course. And, the sad reality is that, yes, most quarterbacks obviously have a lot of responsibility. Dak has maybe more than most.
Well, he's always the guy front and center. So there's no excuses for sure. But Dak cannot run the routes, right? Dak cannot call the game plan or install the offense. Dak cannot block for the offensive line, right? He's not making adjustments. The coach has got to. This is all the coaching. The coach has got to make better adjustments. The receivers got to run better routes. I think it's just the concept. That's my issue with Kellen Moore. I think it's the concepts that would not fit. Even if Dak liked it or not, who cares? Dak's the player. The coach, a veteran coach, would say, this would work, but we have to adjust. We can't go on these 3-second routes to the sticks. It's predictable. We got to make an adjustment because teams are figuring it out, and they figured it out for 4 freaking years. I mean, Kellen Moore might have done a tweak here, a tweak there. Didn't really work too much, consistently speaking, definitely against the better teams. Is that on Dak? Dak made things happen that shouldn't have happened. So to me, I hear you, Clark Kent, and Dak has his faults, don't get me wrong, but there's the chance of getting a better quarterback than Dak, it's like 1,000,000 to 1. As far as just, what are you going to do? You're going to draft somebody? Is he going to be the guy? He's going to take us 4 or 5 years before you see what he can do? Or are we going to pick up a veteran? You're going to pick up Derek Carr? What is he? Dak is the best bet for this team for now. And again, you asked yesterday, some people asked, I think Clark Kent was the one who asked, how do you really feel about Dak? You gave your answer. My answer is, I feel that Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And a top 10 quarterback, I'm not getting semantics. We talked about semantics here, about the good and bad of Dak and the other things surrounding him on this team that's causing an issue on offense. But Dak as a top 10 quarterback, skill-wise, ability-wise, IQ-wise, whatever, getting out of sacks, whatever you want to look at, as an overall complete quarterback, I truly believe Dak Prescott, as a top 10 quarterback, can easily lead the Dallas Cowboys to a Super Bowl, and that's all I care about. That's all that matters to me. I don't want to play games searching for a guy a little better than Dak, while everybody else falls apart. We got the team now. We got the team built around Dak. We got McCarthy running the West Coast. I've been screaming about at least the rollout stuff for a while. Let's go.
You might be able to find someone who's a little
too
bit
risky.
Better.
Yeah,
is
very
great
difficult
and all, but realistically speaking, odds are we won't find shit.
I mean,
just being honest.
We talked about it I remember a couple of years ago we would do a decade worth of quarterbacks drafted in the draft, and I think 4 guys were better than Dak in a 10-year span that you would take over Dak Prescott. You just got to take what you can get. You got a top 4 quarterback in that span that we did of 10-year drafted quarterbacks. You got to live with that. You got to just accept it. He's a top 10 quarterback more or less now. Learn to deal with that. Accept it. You think he's worth it? You think he's not worth it? Is he able to do it? You get the right guys around him, the right coaching around him. We got the right defense around him. It's not about the Dak Cowboys. It's the Dallas Cowboys, and Dak is part of the offensive team. The Cowboy coaches got, and like McCarthy, got to find the right pieces and the right scheme and the right adjustments in the season to make sure that this offense runs as a well-oiled machine, not as a freaking clusterfuck we saw last year with Kellen Moore and shitty receivers. Let's be real, as a trio, bad receiving core, offensive line 28th in pass blocking. Do I have to keep going? So there's things that need to be tweaked, and we won 12 games and a playoff game last year. Just saying, as a team, we didn't do bad. But we need to do better because, hey, in Dallas, we got no patience. We got to get that 6 and beyond, and I'm with you guys on that.
I agree. Not bad, one thing. Better, there we go. So, now, baby, I do think we are towards the end of the things that we're touching on here.
That's the end of that's the end of the show.
So let me go ahead and do some kind of final shout-outs real quick. Hit up the chat as we, roll through some of your comments here. And make sure, guys, this is your last kind of chance here to hit the like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow us everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Of course, there's a handful of ways to show the love and support outside of the memberships, outside of the super chats. We have the Cash App, the Venmo, the PayPal, and the Streamlabs
Yes,
link.
much love to those who have participated on that side of things. The dark times and the nicer times now here. The low times on YouTube, the last, from after our loss to, in January to the beginning of this month. We're back at it, guys. So, yes, I do want to hear the comments in the chat. You got your thoughts. We heard my thoughts. I hear the comments in the chat, what they think as we do this kind of shout-out / comments discussion stuff.
Yeah. Luis Ortiz said, our defense will dominate and get us to the Super Bowl. Dak just better do his part.
As long as, I'm with you. They give Dak what he is supposed to handle. Not making it 3rd and 25. That should not be on any quarterback. But you give Dak what he's supposed to handle, Dak will be there. I have confidence in that. If you don't give Dak what he's supposed to, he'll do whatever he can to get us there, but he'll make some mistakes, some more mistakes.
So we have Frank Moyer, much love, saying you might want to look at what Rodgers did when McCarthy was calling plays in Green Bay after Green Bay players, except for Rodgers, left. So basically saying that, McCarthy maybe wasn't the best play caller because people in Green Bay were not a fan of that when he did
Maybe,
that.
but when he had talent, what did he do? They got a Super Bowl and they were pretty consistently great in those years. So we have talent on this team. And that's it. It's not, all the talent has been stripped from us. We have the talent and we have a top 10 quarterback. We don't have an Aaron Rodgers, but we got a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. We have better defense than they had.
We did have the number 1 defense for a little while there, Pioneer.
Yeah, the first 10 games.
Consistently top 5 for pretty much the entire year.
Yeah, top 5 the entire year.
Every category.
Top 1 the first 10 games. And really, the last 2 years have been the top defense in the NFL in turnovers, causing turnovers. Yep. So we're number 1 on that. We're pretty much number 1 across the board and top 5 in everything else.
House Nelson said Dak explaining needs to be a word in the dictionary at this point.
That's fine, but there's also Dak haters. We got to add that in there too, right? Because some people that maybe, explaining something that obviously is rational is what we did tonight. To hate on Dak blindly because he threw a bad pass is kind of silly. I seen a lot of quarterbacks throw some bad pass out there, and they won Super Bowls and some haven't won Super Bowls.
So let me come back down. Yeah, maybe we kind of touched on most of the Dak comments here. Let me see. Pioneer said I'm all in on Dak. So Frank Moyer, of course.
I don't think Dak is 40% of the cap though. From Clark Kent. No, he's like
that wasn't the comment I was.
Oh no, I'm talking about Clark Kent's comment. I think he's like 20% or like 18% of the cap.
Yeah, he's like 20% of the cap.
He's 40 million, but he's not 40%. No way. And I think he's actually less than 40. He's like 31 million this year or 28 million. Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I think this year it's closer to like 18 or 19% or something like that.
Lower than that, I think. If he's getting like 21 to 31 million, he's probably getting taken up about 15%.
Yeah, if he was 40% of our cap,
that'd be
Dak
trouble.
would have to throw the ball and then run out onto the field and catch it himself.
Luis Ortiz saying you got to lead the receiver, but Luis, what happens when the receiver is double teamed and it's 3rd and 25 and the tight window throw is a probable interception? What is Dak supposed to do? Take the sack, dump it down? I'd say dump it down, but Kellen Moore wants him to continuously try to take those deep shots. So yeah. If you want to help your quarterback, you wouldn't leave him hanging out there on those 3rd and 25s. That were probably because we threw the ball happy, like we did crazy with it against Jacksonville. Threw the ball 2 plays in a row and it caused an interception because of the poor play calling by Kellen Moore. I don't care what anybody says. That's the most consistent issue on this offense is Kellen Moore's play calling. I don't care who the quarterback was, because when Cooper Rush was there, he didn't do great. When McCarthy took over and we were efficient. He knows how to use the quarterback to help your offense, not use your offense to try to help. I guess the way that Kellen Moore is doing it is like, hey, you stick with my offense no matter what, and the receivers, he never were told to like come back and help your quarterback. I don't know what's going on, but you can bet your ass McCarthy's going to change that.
So, but yeah, that's all the kind of Dak comments and little shout outs here. Let me do the final shout outs here of the night. So Luis Ortiz, Pioneer, Clark Kent. Let me see, Frank Moyer, House Nelson, Bama Fan, Retro, Snug X, of course.
Snug. Which we got to do some final shout out, by the way.
Oh, yeah, those shout outs will be coming here shortly. Mike Aldana, Brandon Katz. Let me see who else is here. Lost in Translation. Brandon James Shea.
Yeah.
Hakeem Sears. Burn Bar.
Burn.
All of you guys, again. Yeah, it's as far back as I can go. So, again, thank you so much to everybody here who took time out of your night to spend time with us here on the MCF side of things. And especially to the people who are going to be passing on their crowns, right? The sponsor of the week, David S. Also the Cash App King, David S.
Yeah, let me put his name up here one last time because that torch is being passed, guys. The baton is being passed. The King of the Cash App, David S. Sponsor of the week, David S. Much love. Brand new family member. Truly appreciate you. He's on that board as well. 5th place, top 5 again, showing this week. But alas, he has to pass the torch on to a couple people here, and it's just really actually to the one person. I do want to shout out Mark Hovsepian coming back again and taking that stream boss, 94 points. Much love to him. And again, our thoughts are definitely with him and his family. Just recoup it, man. Recuperate as best you can, and our thoughts are with you as always, man. But the winner this week of the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King. It is the man, and you know why he's here. SnugX, the dominating show, performance last night on our one-time only party stream. SnugX, much love. Took over and gave his love in the Cash App way, and he took it on both boards. Although it did become a lot closer after Marco Sepian's drop earlier tonight. But close or not, SnugX does take the victory and get the crown as we kick off a new week. Much love to SnugX. We'll have a good write-up for you. Kicking off a new week tomorrow here on My Cowboys Family. So we had David S. sweep it last week. SnugX. We got, last name initials here. David S. SnugX keeps it going, guys. So thank you once again for truly dropping your knowledge in the chat, dropping the love from above. All the love and support you guys bring to the channel is well, taken and truly appreciated. But now, baby, why do we do this? Let's let them know for the end of this week. It's kicking off a new week tomorrow. Why do we do this each and every night here on My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly, we're always repping that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here. 6 years and beyond. We're about to get to that area. Month away for 6 years here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, say it with us. Say it loud. Go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. As you guys helped us get to this late stage hangover, I guess you could say now. Right? We're
Andy
ready to.
Potts, hello and hi.
Andy,
have a great night.
in the house. Much love to Andy. I know he was part of the membership and way back when. We got the memberships back, my guy. We're all back and rolling forward here, kicking it off. Almost a month in. Ooh, man. Again, guys, thank you for dropping the knowledge in the chat, the discussions back and forth. Appreciate it. Whether we agree or disagree, I love the conversation. Make sure you guys post your comments below. If you're watching us on the replay, let us know how you feel, how you think about what we talked, especially about that Dak stuff at the end. Thank you all for that. Baby, I'll close this poll out here as I'm kind of bringing this to its final ending here. There it goes. I know we had the final results here for this poll. I'm figuring that the Dak Prescott one might have taken it. What was the final results on the poll, baby?
So when it comes to Dak, where does most of the blame go for the risky throws that lead to interceptions? 41% of you guys said it's on Dak.
Man, the family going against
27%,
MCF.
Yeah, 27% said bad coaching, from Kellen Moore and Linehan. Right. 16% said receivers dropping and tipping passes. And 14% said the receivers not getting consistent separation on the routes.
So when you add those up, you're looking at basically 30%, 30%, and then 40%. 30% receivers, 30% coaching, 40% Dak. So Dak, get on it. The family here, they voted, they spoke, and they said get your ass in gear and get your shit together. I believe that's part of it. I just would have maybe switched the 40% to the coaching, the 30% back to Dak, or 27% to Dak. That's just me. Dak's to blame, but not the full blame. We'll see what happens this year. If what I'm saying works out and McCarthy got it down right, I think that Dak Prescott will be on pace to have a fantastic football season for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think a lot of people got to be like, 41% of people got to be like, all right, I see what you're, at least, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but MCF, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now. On that note, guys, again, your drops of knowledge in the chat all night long, appreciate it. Much love to you guys, dropping the love from above all week long. Last night was truly a blowout stream. And tonight, again, appreciate everybody dropping the love, the knowledge in this chat. But now it is time to close it out for the night, drop out for the night, relock and reload. Not just tomorrow for a new show, but a whole new week here in My Cowboys Family. Before we can do all of that, baby, let everybody in the chat know, everybody watching the replay, what do we got to do before we officially drop out of here for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
That beat been dropped, even though I was bouncing around there for a little bit. It was the wife speaking. The beat been dropped. Much love to everybody once again here. Mr. Dunn. Exactly. I agree with Mr. Dunn on Dak's injury. That, he's not really known for throwing interceptions. Go back and listen to what we said. And, you guys will, I think, understand the context of Dak, of what we talk about when it comes to Dak and the blaming and all that stuff. Anyways, we want this team to succeed no matter who's to blame. No matter who you think is to blame. I think the coach and you think is Dak. You know what? In the end, we got to get that 6 and beyond. That's all we care about. But thank you all for rocking with us here for another one. Closing out this week the right way. And always talking on nightly Cowboys chat in the books. We talked about it all here. Practice and offense and the defense. Defense, Micah and the rest of the defensive line getting that D-Ware. Beware of D-Ware and the help he's giving the Cowboy defensive linemen. And, of course, most of this, McCarthy's coaching, he was definitely rated way too low, 21st at coaching, but it's more about what his coaching and play calling is going to do for this offense. Dak Prescott and that star over everything. That's what it's about here. Dak, get your shit in gear, but also everybody else on offense, the coaching, the receivers, the offensive line, get your stuff in gear as well. And let's win that 6 and beyond. Here in MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here in my Cowboys family. Much love to everyone. Thank you for making last night an unbelievable stream. I don't remember half of it. We got through it, though. You guys helped us through it tonight on the late style of things. We'll see you tomorrow or Tuesday for another one here in my Cowboys family. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe. Peace out. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.